Giannis appears to be unhappy in Milwaukee. I felt this was very evident in the game earlier this week against the Timberwolves, a Timberwolves team that did not play Anthony Edwards in the game against the Bucks. This was a game where the Bucks had gotten blown out by the Timberwolves in front of their home crowd fans. The fans had enough of it during the second quarter in which they booed the Bucks and Giannis. Giannis took it personal that in the third quarter he got an and one play in which he had scored the bucket. He got up and put his two thumbs down to mock the fans. After the game, here's what Giannis said about it. When I get booed, I boo back. When people don't believe in me, I don't tend to be with them. I tend to be against them. I don't think anybody has the right to tell me how I should act on a basketball court after I've been in there 13 years. I'm basically the all-time leader in everything. So that's what Giannis had to say about the fans booing him, in which he felt he was disrespected. Personally, I didn't feel he was disrespected because this happens all the time in every other NBA arena when the home team gets humiliated, like the way the Bucks got humiliated in that game, being down by 20 or 30 points and they're not playing with effort. The home team tends to get booed. I saw that happen even with the Spurs during the Tim Duncan era. There were some games where they had gotten humiliated at home, where the effort wasn't there, and all the players, including Tim, got booed. But the difference was Tim didn't take it personal. I remember him saying in an interview after the game that, hey, we didn't come with effort, so I understood why they were upset. And, it is what it is. We just got to play better. And I think that would have been the logic response for Giannis. But I think he's really gotten to a point where he does not want to be in Milwaukee, and he's using any excuse to get out of there, even something like getting booed when being down by like 30 some points at home. That I think he's desperate to get out of there. And then if we just even fast forward to when they played the Spurs after the game against the Wolves this week, this was a game in which the Spurs easily pummeled the Bucks. They won the game by 119 to 101, but at one point in time, I think they were up by like 30 or 40 points, so it wasn't close. Nothing really memorable about this game other than Giannis and Victor banging their knees, which was a scary moment as a Spurs fan during that one moment. But outside of that, nothing really sticks out about this game except the ending of the game where you see Giannis and Victor talking to each other and you see them covering up their mouths to make sure no one sees the conversation. But from what I could read from their facial expressions and the way they were looking at each other, that seemed like a very serious conversation. That wasn't just like, hey, I respect you as a player type of conversation and I want to give you props. That was something deeper. I think everybody could see it. I felt like that was Giannis making a plea with Victor, saying like, hey, you got some decisions to make and it's up to you. You got to decide very soon. Do you want me on your team or do you not want me on your team? You need to make this decision. You need to allow me to come to your team. I want to play with you. Let's make this happen. I just want to get out of here. Please free me from Milwaukee. Please tell your management to make the trade. The power's in your hands. You gotta make this move. You gotta make this boss move. It's up to you. I felt like Giannis was giving him an ultimatum. That's how I really felt this was all about when they were having that conversation. To me, it was pretty funny. It seemed like something out of like a movie or like two mob bosses meeting up trying to negotiate something together. That I think that really was Giannis making this plea to join the Spurs and hoping that the Spurs would make the move, that Victor specifically would go to management to get it done. Now, as a Spurs fan, I do respect Giannis's game, but I still wouldn't want to trade for him. I know people will say I'm crazy, but I just don't trust Giannis to stay healthy when it matters. He tends to always get hurt during the playoffs the last few years. Plus, he's like 31, 32, so he has like 3-4 years left of being like an MVP level player. But you just never know with his injury history. And then you got Victor, who I believe unfortunately is injury prone too. I just think due to his height and the way his body's set up, that he's going to be like Anthony Davis when it comes to injuries. I hope I'm wrong, but I mentioned this because I think that's why it's important to keep a Dylan Harper, a Stephon Castle, because the hope is one of those two guys will emerge as a legit superstar, and they're both younger than Victor. So whenever Victor goes through stretches when he's not there, they can carry the team. That's what I'm betting on. So that's why I just wouldn't do it, because Giannis is going to be done in the next I think three to 5 years as being a superstar player. You just don't know how long he has left. Great, he can still play in the league for a longer time, but I think it's going to come to an end, pretty soon. Kind of like what happened with LeBron. Like, once he hit his late 30s, I know people like to say he was still a superstar, but I always disagreed because he couldn't play defense anymore. I think Giannis will get affected by the same stuff pretty soon. It's kind of like inevitable, so I wouldn't do do a trade for him. But you could tell that Giannis really does respect Victor. I'm just going to read this quote. At one time, Victor Wembanyama is going to be in his final level, and then he's going to be a nightmare. And I hope when that is, I'm out of the league, retired. But also because I'm a competitor, I would love playing against the best. I would love to see and face that final stage before I'm too old, because you want to have that on your resume. You want to play against the best. Like, I can say I played against Kobe, LeBron, KD, Steph, Jokic, Wemby, and a lot of other players. You want to have it on your resume, sign of respect. When I have 4 kids, I'll be able to sit down on the couch and watch the clips with them and say, like, I played against that guy. One time I dunked on him, one time I blocked him, but many other times he got me. So Giannis definitely has a lot of respect for Victor, judging by this quote. He already believes he's going to be an all-time great, and thinks he's going to be legendary, which I won't even argue with Giannis. I think if Victor remains healthy, I definitely see him being an all-time great easily. Top 10, definitely, if he stays healthy. It's all about health. And and you could tell that he definitely really does respect him, and I can sense he would love to play with him. So it's really up to Victor which way he decides. That's what I think is going to come down to. So I don't know what's going to happen come the trade deadline, but we'll see. That's pretty much all I had to say about this.